We've been doing this Lectio Divina stuff over Lent, trying to experience the gospel in different ways. Sometimes we'll sit quietly and read it 4 times, take it in turns. So we're going to hear the gospel in different ways today. You've heard it read by me, and we're going to watch a video of it now that will bring it to life in different ways. One you've probably seen at school if you're young enough, so that'll help. And then afterwards, I'm going to tell you a bit about it and invite you to go outside and burn things on a small fire. So we've got sort of a multi-experiential way of interacting with this same gospel story. I've got a couple of things to point out to you, and then the things that have struck me about what it is this day to be brave and to love each other. So I'm going to show you a video that will do at least half the work of the sermon for me, and then I'll say something else.
The Miracle of Mercy, Peter. This is Peter.
Hey-o! Whoop!
Peter was a fisherman who was called by Jesus.
Hey!
Peter saw the many miracles of Jesus, and he heard all of his teachings. When the time came for Jesus to die and take away the sins of all the world, Jesus had one final meal with his friends. During this meal, Jesus told his followers that the time had come for him to leave them.
Huh?
Peter asked, "Where are you going?" Jesus told him Peter couldn't follow him now,
What?
but that he would follow him later.
Wait a second.
But Peter said, "Why can't I come now? I'm ready to die for you." Jesus said, "Die for me? Peter, before the rooster crows tomorrow morning, you will deny 3 times that you even knew me." Then Jesus and his disciples went to the Mount of Olives so Jesus could pray. Along the way, Jesus told his followers that they would all abandon him.
Uh-oh.
But Peter said, "Even if everyone else leaves you, I never will." Jesus said, "Peter, this very night, before the rooster crows, you will deny 3 times that you even know me." But Peter wouldn't believe it and vowed that he would stay with Jesus until the very end. The other disciples vowed the same.
Yeah, I hear.
Later on that night, Jesus was arrested by men sent by the religious teachers and priests. Peter tried to fight for Jesus, and he cut off the ear of one of the guards.
Ow!
But Jesus healed the guard
Huh?
and went quietly with the captors. All the disciples scattered just as Jesus told them they would. The men led Jesus away to the house of the high priest. Peter and another disciple followed them. Peter came to warm himself by their fire.
Hello.
A servant girl noticed him in the firelight.
Huh?
Finally, she said, "This man was one of Jesus' followers."
Oh, ma?
But Peter denied it for the first time. He said, "I don't even know him." After a while, someone else looked at him and said, "You must be one of them."
Whoa.
Peter, for a second time, said, "No, I'm not."
Okay.
About an hour later, a man who knew the man whose ear Peter cut off said, "Didn't I see you in the olive grove with Jesus? This must be one of them. He comes from the same place as all of them."
Yeah, you're right.
But Peter said,
No.
"I don't know what you're talking about." And then Peter heard the crow of the rooster. Jesus turned and looked at Peter. Jesus' words flashed through his mind, and Peter left the courtyard weeping. Then Jesus died and was placed in a tomb. The disciples heard that he had come back from the dead. Peter even saw the empty tomb and believed that Jesus was alive again.
Woo-hoo!
And Jesus appeared to the disciples to show him that he was alive. Some of Jesus' followers were together when Peter said, "I am going fishing."
Okay.
So they all went out to the sea, but caught nothing all night. At dawn, they saw a man standing on the beach.
Oh, hey, over here.
The man called out to them and said, "Have you caught any fish?"
Nope.
The man said, "Throw out your net on the right side and you'll get some."
Okay.
So they did, and they couldn't bring in the net because there were so many fish in it. Then one of the men on the boat said to Peter, "It's Jesus." When Peter heard that it was Jesus, he swam to the shore while the others pulled in the load to the boat. When they got there, they found breakfast waiting for them.
I miss a fish. Got it.
Jesus said, "Come have some breakfast." While they were eating, Jesus asked Peter, "Do you love me?" Peter said, "Yes, you know I love you." So Jesus said, "Then feed my lambs." Then Jesus asked again, "Do you love me?" Peter said again, "Yes, you know I love you." And Jesus said, "Then take care of my sheep." And then a third time, Jesus asked Peter, "Do you love me?" Peter was hurt that Jesus asked the question a third time, so he said, "You know everything. You know that I love you." So Jesus said one last time, "Then feed my sheep." And so Peter went on to feed Jesus' sheep by helping establish the church and by writing books that we can now read in the Bible. And though he denied Jesus, he was forgiven, and many came to know the love and forgiveness of Jesus through Peter.
I love that story. I love that story. There's so much of the church done right in that story. I'm going to give you a few things to take away, that like bits of trivia. Sometimes I learn things and go, "Oh, that's interesting. It doesn't really fit." But then the next time you read this, go, "Oh, I remember that," because maybe there's extra bits that I don't want to talk about today that are interesting to you. I think it's interesting that at the start, Peter says, "Well, I'm going fishing," because he's bored. And the disciples say, "I'll go with you." That when you want to do a thing, well, go with your mates. Just a small thing. Well, I noticed that. I thought that was lovely. That they don't fish very well until Jesus says, "Do it this way." That there's just advice for life. Listen to Jesus, things go better when you do. I thought that was interesting. One of my favourite things was this 153 fish. There's 153 fish. Somebody said that's a metaphor for all the types of fish they knew about in the world, meaning like everyone. Or it's a metaphor for all the countries they knew of in the world, which it could be. Somebody else said, and this stuck with me, that it could be because there were 153 fish. And fishermen, sort of quite geekily, like to count and measure their fish. Right? If you ever go fishing, how big was it? It was this big. Well, how many did you catch? 12, and there were the 2 that got away. Like fishermen are fishermen. They count things. And I like that Jesus works this into this story, the little quirky foibles of the people there. If you just like to count exactly how many things there are, that's fine. Crack on. I thought that was nice. Okay, but the main focus is this, for me today, is this bit around the fire with Jesus talking to Peter about this fixing of things. Peter had said, "I don't even know him." And then Jesus had seen him, and they both knew that Peter had let him down. Peter knows he's let him down, and he saw Jesus looking at him, so he knows that Jesus knows, and Peter knows that Jesus knows that Peter knows that he's let him down, etc. And they've got this thing between them. This rupture, this broken thing, and they fix it in what I'm calling the awkward sardines of redemption. It's your title today. This is how they do this with breakfast. So Peter had denied it. There's this rupture, and this is what I love, is that Jesus fixes this rupture quite practically and with love. And I think it's an example for me of what has sort of redefined courage and bravery. A couple of times, 3 times in the last month, I have had to go and say sorry to people for things. Big things or small things, and it has taken some courage to go and do that. It can be hard, right? You say, "I'm sorry," you're hoping people will say, "That's okay, I forgive you." But they might say, "Well, you should be, because you're an idiot." And then I would feel awful. I've talked about Peter having ADHD. I'm sure he did. And one of the things that often comes with ADHD is what we call rejection-sensitive dysphoria, which is this sense when you've put your foot in it that you're just eaten by shame and feel awful and it's the end of the world. And you open yourself up to that when you say sorry. So I think there's some bravery in Peter being ready to sit with Jesus afterwards, like, oh, God, I've got to go and have breakfast with the boss and I've let him down. Good on him. That showed some courage. Quite a lot. I think what showed, I don't know if it showed more courage, but, because it's Jesus and he's incredible. But what I've seen people do twice in the last couple of weeks is go up to somebody and say, that thing that happened, that hurt me, and I need us to fix this. Which I just thought was amazing. Twice. Somebody's done it with me, there was a thing that it happened and I saw it going on with someone else. And to do that in a way, normally, if I've had to say you hurt me with people, I'm like, you have hurt me, and I kind of want to fight about it. And that's quite easy to do. I don't think you need to be brave for that. You just sort of, all right, I'm going to sort you out, which is very different to, you have hurt me, and we are going to sort this out. The tone of voice of that. And in going up to someone and saying, this matters, and I know that this is going to be really hard for you, and we are going to fix this. I am going to sit in this with you and help make this better. And that's what Jesus does. I don't know how brave it was. I can't tell how worried and afraid Jesus was at that. He was fully human. He felt the things that we feel, but also, I mean, he had just been crucified and come back from the dead. He must have been filled with confidence and love and a sense of purpose. He knew what he was here for, and it was to start the church. But that's amazing that he knew exactly what to do. And he sat with Peter and he looked him in the eye and he gave him some fish and he said, do you love me? Which cut to the heart of it. This isn't about what you got wrong. What's really going on with us is that we love each other, right? And he did it again and again and again to drive the point home. And Peter had to sit there and take it. And he said, you know I love you. And then Jesus is thinking, well, what do you do? If you love me, Peter, what's your job? Feed my lambs. Love my people. If you love Jesus, it seems to be, then your job is to love people. And we get this image of what loving people is when it goes wrong, which it does. Who's ever put their foot in it with somebody else they know and annoyed them, hurt them, offended them, etc.? Who's done that? If your hand isn't up, I don't believe you. You have. I mean, you might have done it this week, but you have, right? And if you're in a good relationship with somebody, you fix it. With some people, it's easier than others. Victoria and I are having to do this often. That's what marriage is. I commend it to you. When it is someone from church, it's a bit harder. We don't have a script for that. You don't know people as well. But to go like Jesus did to Peter and say, this is going to be all right. I love you. How does this work out? Did we misunderstand each other? Have we let each other down? I felt awful. I want to put a caveat in this. Sometimes if people have hurt you and are continuing to hurt you, if you're not in a safe place, if someone is really unlikely to work with you on this, if you're suffering abuse or anything like that from somebody, it isn't your job to fix this. That said, you never know who's unlikely to respond. Most people, you say, you hurt me, you think they're going to go, well, fine, stuff you very much, but every now and then they're not. So we've got to be careful with this, but of course it is your job to look after yourself and stay safe. It's a beautiful thing that they did. And Jesus is able to do it because he's connected to God and he knows what his purpose is, and it works. I can't imagine what it must feel like sometimes to sit there and be Peter, but you get through it. You get that sense of shame washes away. You stay with awkward enough, and then he's just by a fire with his friend who loves him and will not let go until it's all going to be all right. It's really simple. Okay, I don't have a bigger, more complicated theological sermon for us today, but there are going to be times in life when you need to, I think, where we all need to, just let God love us. And remember that those things we've done to other people, even God's fine with it. Like, we are going to fix this. I will be with you. And it is just beautiful and terrible when you have to do it. But like coming through that, that's good. Sometimes we need to just sit with God and let him love us. Sometimes we need to sit with people we have hurt and say, I am sorry, and I will try to do better, and I will get it wrong some of the time, and what do I need to do to make this better? Sometimes you need to be Peter, to people in your family, to people in your church community, to people elsewhere. Who is it that it is not working with, and some of that might be your fault? And just say, I'm sorry. And sometimes, and this is the hard bit of being disciples, we're called to be more like Jesus. Sometimes you are going to need to sit with people and say, you hurt me, and I know that you know, and let us be with each other, and we will work out how to make this better. The hardest part is if you have to sit with people and go, you hurt me, and you've got no idea at the moment. Oh, that's really hard. But we're not a club. We're not a bunch of people who like to get together and sing. You know, we have choirs, we're a church, and this story shows us what this looks like. So there will be times you will have to do that with people in your church, and it's hard. I don't know which of them it is today. Maybe you don't need any of those things. So maybe there's people in your life you've got to do some fixing with. Maybe there's some courage that you need from God for when you will need to. Or maybe you just need to sit by the fire and have Jesus tell you, I don't know what you've done wrong. Well, Jesus does, but I don't mind. We can fix this. So here's what I'm going to give you a chance to do. A multi-sensory experience, a place to meet God. I have some awkward sardines of redemption. If you want to write down your thing, the person that you have hurt or who has hurt you, or the situation you need some courage to face into that's going to be difficult, come and take 1 or 2 or 3 awkward sardines of redemption. And Adam is outside with a fire, just like that one that the disciples got around. He hasn't got any fish with him, so we'll need to provide those. So it can be really cathartic to physically do this. Imagining it doesn't work the same. Write down your issues, your people, fold it up, throw it on the fire, and give it to God. Or you might just want to go out and sit by the fire and go, it's nice to be by a fire. Whether or not you think you're with God, it's just good to be by a fire. But Jesus might love you a little more by that fire. And you can imagine that scene that happened. If you want to stay in here, we're going to play a couple of beautiful songs that you can just sit with and listen to them and perhaps sing, and maybe God will meet you there. We've got a few minutes for you to get this formative moment from the start of the church and just have it settle into you. So we're going to do that. And when we're done, we're going to carry on with the creed. Question, Simon? Yeah, there it is. That's what. If you want a visual picture of it, that is the disciples dragging up 153 specific fish, and Peter saying to Jesus, oh no, that's the walking on the water next to it. So it's just that one. Yeah, there it is. It's lovely. It's lovely. There you go. Thanks. A multi-sensory experience coming your way. Stare at the glass. 2 songs, 1 fire, 153 awkward sardines of redemption. Over to you.
Tell me what a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and griefs to bear. And what a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pain we bear. All because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. Tell me, have we trials and temptations? Is there trouble anywhere? For we should never be discouraged. Come on and take and so faithful, who will all our sorrows share. 'Cause Jesus knows our every weakness. Come and take it to the Lord in prayer. Heavy laden, cumbered with a load of care. Precious Savior, still our refuge. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Do thy friends despise, forsake thee? Take it to the Lord in prayer. For in his arms you take and shield thee, and thou wilt find the solace there. In Jesus, all our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer.
Fount of every blessing, tune my heart to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. Teach me some melodious sonnet sung by flaming tongues above. Praise the mount, I'm fixed upon it, mount of thy redeeming love. Here I raise my Ebenezer, hither by thy help I come, and I hope by thy good pleasure safely to arrive at home. Jesus, send me when a stranger, wandering from the fold of God, he to rescue me from danger, interposed his precious blood.
So to grace, how great a debtor daily I'm constrained to be. Let thy goodness like a fetter, bind my wandering heart to thee. So to praise how great a debtor daily I'm constrained to be. Let thy goodness like a fetter bind my wandering heart to thee.
Prone to wander, Lord, I feel it. Prone to leave the God I love. Here's my heart, Lord, take and seal it for thy courts above. Prone to wander, Lord, I feel it. Prone to leave the God I love. Here's my heart, Lord, take and seal it for thy courts above. Prone to wander, Lord, I feel it. Prone to leave the God I love. Here's my heart, Lord, take and seal it for